President Tinubu assures Nigerians of his commitment to preserving democracy as Nigeria marks 25 years of uninterrupted democracy. Senate approves 1.911 trillion naira. Niger Delta Development Commission. Plus, House of Representatives moves to address non-payment of stipends to overseas students. Good evening and welcome to NTA Parliamentary News. I am Ene Ojonuba. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has assured Nigerians of his commitment to preserving Nigeria's democracy. This was during a broadcast to the nation as Nigeria marks 25 years of unbroken democracy.
True democracy shined its light on the daily lives of the people who live under its nurturing wings. It affords us the freedom and liberty to think as we want, live where we want, and pursue whatever legitimate endeavors suits us. Democracy does not assume some false or forced unity of opinion. In fact, democracy assumes that conflicting ideas and differing opinions shall be the order of the day. Given the diversity and variety of the human experience, there must be diverse perspectives and viewpoints. What democracy demands is that we do not resolve differences through force and repression, but we make allowance for the legitimacy of views that differ from our own.
That has been the president's speech to Nigerians. Moving on. Nigeria has attained 25 years of uninterrupted democracy, practicing presidential system of government, where the three arms of government, the executive, legislature, and judiciary function independently for the rule of law, separation of power, and good governance. National Assembly correspondent Isa Mohammed takes us on the journey of the National Assembly, especially the Red Chamber since 1999.
There is no doubt, looking at the facts, that returning to democracy 25 years ago marked a fresh beginning of legislative activities in Nigeria, giving birth to a National Assembly with bicameral setting, the Senate and the House of Representatives, saddled with the responsibility of making laws for good governance. The composition of the National Assembly gave room for 109 senators in the Red Chamber, while the Green Chamber has 360 members. From the first to the current 10th Assembly, Nigeria's legislature has produced 9 presiding officers in both chambers from 1999 to 2023. Like any typical bicameral legislature, the National Assembly, especially the Senate, has its own fair share of smooth and rough experiences, characterized by different usual and unusual practices, where senators are suspended for breaching House rules, snatching of maize, which is a symbol of authority, and impeachment threats, among other legislative dramas. 25 years down the line, no doubt the National Assembly has recorded remarkable achievements despite challenges since the return of democracy in 1999, some of which was killing the third-term presumed plan of former President Obasanjo. Others are adoption of doctrine of necessity in 2010 to save the country from major crisis, as Section 145 of the 1999 Constitution required transfer of presidential powers to the deputy while the president is away or not able to perform his duties. Another breakthrough was overriding the president's veto power in 2000 for establishing the Niger Delta Development Commission to address challenges in the Niger Delta region. More so, the degree at which publicity and telecasting of National Assembly proceedings makes lawmakers to sit up and take the act of lawmaking serious. the ability to provide for January to December budget cycle, and the realization of Petroleum Industry Act, among other important acts.
Elect your own to come. Make sure that you have done the filtering process, that the intellectual content is good enough, and he will be able to play at that intellectual space.
The National Assembly are done very well, although there are areas that they still need to do, and the area is the area of returning Nigeria to decentralized federation.
And the fiscal responsibility bill also. Then this budget cycle of January to December, which is now helping, because a situation where you pass budget around June, how can you carry out infrastructure? The capital aspect will suffer.
Despite the remarkable achievements, analysts believed that the National Assembly needs to do more in the area of oversight.
In terms of legislation, enacting law and other things, I think I can give them a pass mark on that. They have done a lot of legislation on various issues that relate to the running of our country.
It is the belief of Nigerians that both chambers will continue to work in harmony, understanding the plights of the citizens and making laws for betterment and good governance of the country. In Abuja, Isa Muhammad, NTA News.
For Nigeria's democracy to thrive, both leaders and the led must be upright in their actions. This was the view of stakeholders at the 2024 Democracy Day lecture organized by the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies. Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
The annual lecture is organized to foster an in-depth discussion among experts reflecting on Nigeria's journey to democracy and the state of the nation. Speakers dwelt on 25 years of unbroken democracy within the theme of the lecture, Democracy, a Renewed Hope Agenda, the Reforms and Matters Arising.
Due to these challenges, Nigeria placed a lot of expectations on the renewed hope agenda of the current administration to enhance unity and resolve these penny economic challenges.
We have voted for people we wanted. Sitting presidents have lost elections and they have accepted it. I think we have done well as a nation.
Others stress the need for government at all levels to improve the well-being of the citizenry with special attention to the next generation.
Every day, the president should hear this. Why? He should hear these words because they are what his vision, policies, and programs are all about. He should hear these words because while he thinks of a future without a shrinking economy that provides no opportunity for young Nigerians to develop their full potential, millions of young Nigerians think their country is designed to trap them in poverty or to take their lives immediately. He should hear these words because he does not have all the time in the world to fix Nigeria, so he has to build the future while battling the challenges of today.
We reaffirm our commitment to deepening our democracy, enhancing the welfare of our citizens, and creating a more just and equitable society for all Nigerians.
As Nigeria is looking forward to sustainable democracy as enjoyed by developed nations, it is a consensus belief that justice and fairness must be the watchword to achieve the set goal. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Nigeria's 10th Senate came to life 24 hours after the national celebration of the June 12th Democracy Day in 2023. Quite a coincidence, you may say, being that the legislature is the fulcrum of democracy. 1 year on, National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali brings this story on events and happenings in the first legislative year of the 10th Senate, mostly referred to as the upper chamber of the nation's bicameral law-making arm of government.
The 109 senators inaugurated on June 13, 2023, rode on the platform of 7 political parties to win their seats, with the governing party APC in the majority. Election of the presiding officers Godswill Akpabio and Barrow Jibrin set the tone of activities for lawmakers in the 10th Senate.
When we're also going through the kind of socio-economic and political situation that we're going through as a nation, you see that there cannot be a better time, for the legislative arm to collaborate with the executive arm.
The Red Chamber, in the year under review, screened and confirmed about 300 appointees of President Tinubu and still counting. Aside amendments and passage of budgets and supplementary components, Senate passed more than 30 bills to fast-track the implementation of initiatives for enhanced impact on key sectors.
Another one was how to engage those who are on the street, especially the youth, and also addressing the insecurity that is all over the country.
The Red Chamber, in checkmating the executive, also interrogated some policies, urging a review, and instituted investigations on perceived lapses. A good example was the recent introduction of new electricity tariff regime for a segment of consumers.
There's no way we can add this electricity increase now to petroleum subsidy removal at the same time and expect people not to be suffocated.
The motion on Abadan project, which led the Senate to set up the ad hoc committee on Abadan project for 11,886 projects are Abadan. When I say mega project, I don't mean ordinary project. A mega project is a project above 250 billion.
The lawmakers also engaged key stakeholders for harmonious coexistence. The Senate met twice with the organized labor, all in an effort to reach amicable resolution of disagreements between federal government and the organized labor. The ongoing constitutional review process with creation of state police on the front burner is among areas of focus for the lawmakers.
I'm also convinced that in order for us to protect our military and ensure that they're able to concentrate on their constitutional role of protecting the national integrity and sovereignty of this country, there's a need to have a state police, that will help to strengthen internal security. The issue of autonomy for our local governments, it's an issue on which the National Assembly had already taken a position. So it's an issue that Nigerians should take up more with our state governors.
My own state needs another state. I come from Cross River North. Abuja was one of the first provinces, and it's the only province that is yet to have a state.
As far as the resources of Nigeria is concerned, the Constitution should also look at, because I do not subscribe to the idea of exploration and exploitation of natural resources being in the exclusive list of the Constitution in favor of the federal government.
As the Senate marks 1 year, some moments etched in memory include the sacking of 2 minority leaders and 3 others by court pronouncements, while Senator Ifeanyi Ubah defected from the YPP to the APC. As the Senate progresses into the second year of the 4-year session, lawmakers are confident of impactful performance to positively transform the lives of citizens.
The commitment of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the renewed hope agenda, touching lives, palliatives have been taken care of. And also, he has a listening ear, negotiating with the laborers and all these things about the complaint from Nigeria, which is genuine. So for me, it's just 1 year of good tidings.
Our economy should be strengthened. Our governance system should be strengthened. The institutions should be strengthened and stronger than the individuals. And once that is done, we are good to go.
Lami Ali, NTA News.
Let's now join Lami Ali, where she interacted with Senate leader Opeyemi Bamidele on the journey so far as the 10th Senate clocks 1 year.
Will have to be confirmed by the Senate, which is part of the legislative arm of government, while the president will have to swear in, the Chief Justice of Nigeria. So checks and balances will always be there. No arm of government can go it alone. The same constitution, quite interestingly, also makes provisions, recognizing the need for collaboration among, the 3 arms of government. So the truth about it is we cannot but recognize when to apply each of these constitutional principles. So the times that the legislature is seen to be collaborating with the executive, which some people sometimes misunderstand, and they will say, oh, you know what, the legislature is a rubber stamp, of the executive. It's because people who say that don't recognize the need for collaboration emphasized by the Constitution. And beyond the constitutional provision, the truth about it is, when we're also going through the kind of socio-economic and political situation that we're going through as a nation, you see that there cannot be a better time, for the legislative arm to collaborate with the executive arm. We must continue to make the laws for good governance of this country. We must continue to amend existing laws in a way that will suit, the realities of our situation.
We now take a short break. Please stay with us.
Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your short channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the marketing department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki Abuja, or call these numbers 080-383-40464 or 080-770-78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
Senate has passed the statutory budget of the Niger Delta Development Commission amounting to 1.911 trillion naira. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports on these and other considerations at plenary.
The budget is for development purposes in the 9 beneficiary states of the Niger Delta covered by the NDDC Act. A breakdown shows legacy projects funded by borrowing taking 1 trillion naira. 835 billion naira goes to development projects, while 38 billion naira is allocated to recurrent expenditure.
I commend the present management of NDC for now being focused, channeling the money to projects that are really meaningful and dedicated to the development of the area.
Total revenue, 1,911,844,833,046 naira. Is hereby approved and passed.
Senate also adopted the report of the Conference Committee on the Southeast Development Commission.
Membership of the Commission should be subject to the confirmation of the Senate, to the exclusive jurisdiction of the Senate for confirmation. The Senate version was adopted. 5
bills passed first reading, among which is the bill that seeks the establishment of a trust fund for victims of banditry and kidnapping. Senate adjourns plenary to Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. Meanwhile, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has expressed the readiness of the Tinubu administration to ensure the completion of the Mambila Power Project. This, the President of the Senate said, will increase electricity generation by 3,000 megawatts. It was during an interaction with Chinese investors led by the Minister of State Steel Development, Obami Gari Ahmadu.
Under this president, the Mambila Hydro Project should become a reality. This has been on the drawing board for a very, very long time.
Senator Akpabio stated the commitments of government in partnering with investors to enhance job creation. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill seeking to amend the Electoral Acts to criminalize the failure of a presiding officer to deduct excess votes in a polling unit during an election. The bill, sponsored by Representative Hassan Falata of Jigawa State, has been referred to the House Committee on Electoral Matters for further legislative action. National Assembly correspondent Mitairi Ikpen reports on these and other plenary resolutions.
The bill proposes an amendment of Section 51, subsection 2 of the Electoral Act to compel a presiding officer to deduct the number of excess votes across all political parties in a polling unit where overvoting is recorded.
And the presiding officer shall be prosecuted in accordance with the provisions of Section 145 of this Act, and if found guilty, shall be sentenced to a period of 6 months imprisonment or a fine of 2 million, or both.
If this bill is supported by all of us, God's willing will enhance and strengthen the electoral process.
Other lawmakers want further fine-tuning of the bill.
There is something we still need to look at, to tweak a little bit for us to get it right, because somebody can still commit this crime of overvoting, and by the amendment we are making, he will still be declared the winner, depending on the margin.
Several other bills passed second reading at Tuesday's plenary. They include the Northwest Development Commission Establishment Bill, the Trade Disputes Essentials Services Repeal and Reenactment Bill, and the National Safety Regulation Board Establishment Bill.
In order to enhance synergy among agencies of government saddled with safety responsibilities in our environment,
about the devastations, the dislocations, and the distortions that is taking place in the Northwest.
Motions of urgent public importance were also adopted.
This motion seeks to urge the House to urge the federal government to ensure that international oil companies clean up the Niger Delta region before divesting from the country.
The House therefore resolved to urge the leadership of the National Assembly to intervene and ensure that the remaining members elect of the Plateau House Assembly are sworn in for the purpose of equity, fairness, and justice.
Akoko Northeast Northwest Federal Constituency of Ondo State borders Kogi and Ekiti states in North Central and Southwest geopolitical zones of Nigeria. The House is informed that on 2nd April 2024, a very heavy rainstorm swept through many communities across the entire constituency, causing significant damage and disruption to the affected areas.
The House has adjourned plenary to 2nd of July 2024. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
The House of Representatives is assuring overseas students under the federal government bilateral education agreement scholarship that all lingering issues relating to prolonged non-payment of their entitlements will be addressed before the commencement of next academic session. At a public hearing with stakeholders on the plight of students under the agreement, House Committee on University Education calls for the immediate action of the matter. National Assembly correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
The meeting came as a result of a motion moved during a recent plenary by a member representing Roni, Enkwashi, Bwiwa, and Kazore Federal Constituency following a complaint by students over non-payment of their stipends. This investigative hearing seeks, among other things, to provide accurate information on the reasons for prolonged non-payment of the stipends since 2023.
Why can't you base your submission on the exchange rate, that is on the dollar? Since you are going to pay them in dollar anyway, let them do the calculation at the central bank. All you need is that this is the dollar that you want paid to the students. Instead of you giving error and then at the end of the day you cannot meet up.
Responding to issues raised by members of the committee, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Education, alongside Director Federal Scholarships Board, says the present challenge emanated from the fiscal year 2023. They explained that a total sum of 4,535,820,707 naira was appropriated in the budget. But regrettably, the exchange rate differentials caused shortfalls in funding their awards.
I realize that even this 2024 is not going to be enough. We will still run into the same problem we ran in 2023.
As it is, Even the official one, forget about the parallel market now, the official one is behaving like a moving target. You cannot base your calculation even on the official exchange rate. Therefore, for our report, I would advise that you give us a realistic figure.
The committee therefore resolved to ask the Minister of Finance, Auditor General of the Federation, and the Ministry to appear before its next sitting with a view to having a lasting solution. From the National Assembly, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Ekiti State House of Assembly has reaffirmed commitment to qualitative legislation that will have positive impacts on governance and the people of the state. This was the submission of the legislators at their plenary to mark the first legislative year of the 7th Assembly. Ayodeji Ogunshakin reports that the state governor, who was at the plenary, acknowledged the cordiality between the executive and legislature, which is keeping the state going.
Since the 7th Assembly of Ekiti State House of Assembly came on board on the 6th of June 2023, the legislators have not left anyone in doubt of their commitments to good legislation and other oversight functions. 1 year down the line, the Speaker Adeoye Aribasoye noted that the House of Assembly has performed its duties through the required legislature ranging from lawmaking, off and on plenary duties. These activities of the 7th Assembly, the Speaker said, are obvious through passage of about 15 bills into law, several motions and resolutions, coupled with legislative judicial functions for the overall benefit of the state.
Being a 1 year of, like I said, innovation, legislations that impacted the life of Ekiti people, it has been a 1 year of greater achievement.
Other members of the House appreciated God for the journey of 1 year of legislative activities and reassured the people of the state of good legislation in the years ahead.
Times as the Assembly, Assembly stands for perfection. And I want to say that, Mr. Governor, this Assembly has not only been able to complement your good works, it's actually a perfect Assembly. Array of innovations that has been brought to legislation in this House of Assembly.
I can proudly state that without equivocation, that the 7th Assembly has been very exceptional in their legislative duties. The Assembly is organically cohesive, characteristically mature, and progressively oriented.
There were messages of commendation from dignitaries with a challenge to the lawmakers not to rest on their oars so as to build strong legacies for the good of Ekiti. There were presentations of awards to some former speakers of the House and personalities for their outstanding contributions to the state. From the State House of Assembly, Ayodeji Ogunshakin, NTA News.
That's the size of our bulletin at this time. Thank you for staying with us. Do follow us on our social media handles showing on your screen. Thank you for watching and have a pleasant evening. I am Ene Ojonuba.